Hello lovelies, my name is Stephanie and welcome back to my channel. This week I just wanted to make a video based on any advice I have for someone whose kind of goal in their transition is to pass. Now, if you've seen my video earlier this week, then you'll know kind of a little bit about what passing privilege is and what it means and things like that. So just to premise this video, you might want to jump over to that video if you've not already seen it, because this is going to be coming from the perspective of someone who actively has chosen to pursue kind of looking like a cisgendered woman, conforming to kind of cis normative ideals of what it means to be a woman, of what it means to look like a woman and things like that. So I just want to premise this video by saying, and I cannot stress this enough, trans women and trans people do not need to pass to be valid. There is no rule book when it comes to being transgender. We are all on different journeys. You don't have to pass, you don't have to want to pass. All trans people are valid, their journeys are valid, being androgynous is valid, choosing to not conform and to rebel against cis-normative ideals that oppress women is valid. All of that is valid. I'm not here to invalidate any of my trans brothers or sisters. I'm not here to do any of that. I am here to talk about, from my perspective, any advice I have for a transgender person, probably a transgender woman, on how kind of I pass, how I've learnt throughout my transition, different ways to pass, different things I can do. That's the perspective that this video is coming from. I've talked about passing privilege earlier this week. Please go and watch that video if you haven't already. So we've already discussed that. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about any advice I have on how to pass. Okay, so it's a difficult process to kind of break down is any advice I have for kind of passing and things like that. I think if you have watched my coming out video, then you'll know that I focus a lot on the idea of setting expectations. What I mean when I say setting expectations is have realistic goals for yourself. When it comes to passing, don't hold yourself to someone else's standard. And this is something that I was definitely guilty of. I came out as a very young teen, so I held myself to very high standards that I could not achieve and were not achievable for myself. So make sure that you set realistic expectations. You know, I'm never gonna look like Gal Gadot, despite the fact I am channeling her in this 1984 outfit. But that doesn't mean that I can't become the best version of myself. So setting expectations for me is probably the most important thing, making sure that you have realistic goals in terms of what you want to achieve with passing. There are certain things that are achievable, can be achieved with certain things and certain means, and there are certain things that can only be achieved with lots and lots of money, maybe even with invasive surgery, and there are certain things that just can't be achieved. For example, I am a 6'2", 6'3" woman. I can't change that. My height cannot be changed. I can't change the fact I'm very, very tall. And that's something that no amount of money, no amount of self-hatred is gonna kind of change. And when I was younger, I really disliked it. Really disliked it. And I dreamed of being smaller, but it's just something that you can't set for yourself. So for me, it was about learning to be more confident with my height as opposed to trying to make myself look smaller. So it's things like that. So as I kind of briefly mentioned there are certain things that cost money. And I'm just gonna say it now. I'm talking decent makeup, a decent haircut, you know, eyelash extensions, having your nails done, which I currently do not have, having nice clothes, nice outfits and things like that. Those are things that are gonna cost you money, honey. So it's making sure that you can financially support kind of your goals in terms of passing. If you want to be one of those women who always has perfect nails, good for you, Beverly. But here's the thing, I can't afford that. I cannot afford that. You think I can afford a £100 manicure every month? No, no ma'am, no ma'am. So it's about making sure that you can support kind of your own expectations of what you want to be in terms of a woman. So my kind of, one of the main things I want to talk about is when you transition, and I don't know, you know, I am not FTM, I don't know what it's like to transition from being female to being male, but I do know what it's like to transition from being male to being female. And I think that something that we're all guilty of, all of us, we get carried away very, very quickly. You know, we've had all of these years of suppression and we finally get to take things out of the box and play with makeup and how we dress and things like that, and then we get carried away. We become almost a caricature of what we think stereotyped cisgendered femininity means and is. And I know that when I first came out, for me, this meant slutty. Slutty clothes, short shorts, slutty makeup, long hair, hair extensions. It was just a mess. I thought I was like hot as, but no. So that's something really, really important to think of, is that if your ideal is to pass as a cisgendered woman, I'm here to tell you, cisgendered women do not look perfectly made up 24/7. Cisgendered women go to their shop with their hair in a bun and no makeup. Cisgendered women have eye bags. Cisgendered women wear jogging bottoms. They don't always wear heels. They don't always smell amazing, which sounds awful, but like, girls, sometimes I forget to go out of the house with deodorant on. Do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes we're in a rush. Cisgendered women do not look perfect all of the time, so stop holding yourself to that standard as a trans person. You do not need to look perfect constantly. Because for me, that's one of the biggest giveaways, and it's one of the biggest things that like made me realize how I could pass more, is to just feel more comfortable in my own skin, you know, going to college with like messy hair, going to college without perfect makeup, without my eyebrows on, without eyelashes on, you know. People don't look like that all the time, and I think it's really difficult because we hold ourselves to these really, really high standards of celebrity and fame and fashion and things like that. And trust me, my background's in fashion design. I held myself to those standards many a time, but it's really, really important to remember that not everyone looks perfect all the time. And it's a dead giveaway as well, because if you look perfect every single day as a trans person, and then you're running late one day, you've overslept, your clothes aren't clean, your washing machine's broken, something's happened, family emergency, death here, plague there, then it's just straight away knocks your confidence for six. You immediately don't feel like yourself, you immediately don't feel like you look okay, and it shows in your body language, in how you kind of hold yourself and things like that. So don't try to be perfect every single day, because what you're doing is you're portraying a caricature of yourself that you're ultimately never going to be able to live up to. This leads me on to my second point. I kind of touched on it a little bit over there. Body language. Body language is so important. The way you hold yourself, the way you present yourself, and the way you portray confidence all comes from your body language. Now, this took me a while, a long while. So I used to hunch. To make myself look shorter, to make myself seem invisible and things like that. And I used to always have my arms in front of my body, and I'd never have kind of like my chest out or anything like that. And it really is down to body language, because confidence is, it sounds so cliche, confidence is key. Confidence is key to portraying your best self and the best version of yourself as well. If you want people to respect you and to take you seriously, you need to strut through a room, head held high, chin up, chest out, feeling great, looking gorgeous, and portraying this idea of, do you know what? I don't care. And that's just what you've got to do. That's how you've got to go about it. Is because you can't live your life not portraying yourself the way you want to be portrayed, you know? So body language and how you hold yourself is so so important. You know, how to portray confidence comes from body language and holding yourself and standing tall. You know, you can't hide the fact that you're over 6 foot tall. And I'm sorry to say that you just look awkward. You look awkward when you try to make yourself smaller and look smaller, and you go into yourself and things like that. It's not the one, and it doesn't make you feel better, it doesn't make you look better. So stand proud and be tall and just own it. Own it, because confidence is key, and confidence is what's going to sell you to other people. You know, I have kind of a sales, merchandising, fashion background, and it's all about selling the product. And no one's gonna buy something that you wouldn't buy yourself. So you've got to believe in yourself and portray yourself with positive body language. Next up, makeup. So the thing with makeup that I find is, in my day-to-day, I wear very natural makeup. I wear concealer under the eyes, mascara, I will do my eyebrows if I'm feeling extra fancy, and I wear lip balm. And truthfully, that's not that different from what I'm doing right now. At the moment, I just have an extra layer of foundation on, some eyeliner and some lashes. So it's pretty much exactly the same. But with makeup, for me, my advice is to be kind of, just do what you want. Do what you want, because cisgendered women everywhere are wearing drag makeup. Drag queens everywhere are wearing cisgendered queen makeup. I mean, Courtney Act wears chapstick and mascara and nothing else. So makeup is one of those things that you can really just play with. And it doesn't matter your gender or how you're presenting and things like that. You can just wear whatever makeup you want to wear, and it's fine. You don't have to worry about it. If you want to present more as an everyday cisgendered woman, then I would say go for a more natural look. If you have good skin, then show off your good skin. If you have great eyes, then highlight your great eyes, you know. If you can live up to that standard every day and you can make yourself over every single day, then go for it, why not? But otherwise, I would say just go for a natural look. I like having my freckles come through in everyday life. I like having people being able to see my like natural skin. So that's kind of my advice for makeup. But also, you know, when you get started, have fun, play around, find what works for you. But don't forget to take care of your skin, hair. Okay, so trigger warning. Hair is one of those things when you're transitioning from male to female that is much easier to deal with than when you're transitioning from female to male. So any of my female to male audience, I am sorry. I know this can be quite triggering, but as I am male to female, I'm just gonna talk about it from my point of view. Please don't hate me. Oh yeah. So with hair, it can be really affirming to grow your hair long. And when you're a young teenage boy, you can kind of get away with this because teenage boys are quite scruffy. So they tend to have kind of longer, more unkept hair anyway, but you can also do that as an adult. If you're coming out as an adult and you want to just do something that's really affirming to yourself, grow your hair long, see what it looks like, have a man bun, you know? Do you know what I mean? Because if you want to be kind of convincing and you want to have that like really nice long hair, then you can start growing that out before you even come out as trans and no one has to know. So with hair, for me, I have kind of like my own personal journey with hair. When I first came out as trans, I used to dye my hair quite a lot. It was red, it was blonde, it was balayage, it was weird full fringe Lego hair. I've had it super short, I've had it super long, I've had it super curly, super straight. So with hair, it is literally just like you can experiment with whatever you want. My advice is, if you are trying to kind of be quite conformist, kind of live stealth, if you want to call it that, I know I don't. If you want to live anonymously, then I would say stick to the natural hair colours, don't get carried away, maybe bright purple isn't for you, you know, and things like that. So my hair is a natural shade of brown, sometimes I'll get it highlighted, sometimes I'll get it low lighted and things like that, but I tend to keep it quite natural, quite neutral, an easy base to kind of build off of if I need to. So that's my advice for hair, is to keep it natural but grow it long. I am growing my hair back long, in case you can't tell by the really awkward length that it's currently sitting at, but that is my advice for hair, is kind of grow it long and have a decent haircut. Spend more money on good haircuts. Don't get it cut by, your friend, you know, and have like a really dodgy haircut. Don't do that. Invest in a good haircut. If you can't grow your hair long, then invest in a good wig and things like that. That's kind of my advice for all of those things. Speaking of hair, let's move on to body hair. Now, I am blessed with the fact that I got to transition pre-male puberty. So I have no facial hair, I have no underarm hair, I have no body hair, but I know people that do, and I know that it's a struggle. So here's the thing, before you even come out as trans, you can start having electrolysis and laser hair removal. It is expensive. That is one of the things that is very, very expensive, is laser hair removal and electrolysis. So my advice for that is, if you don't have sensitive skin, use hair removal cream. I highly recommend it. You get a really smooth finish. It does grow back faster, but it does eventually thin after time. If you do have very sensitive skin, then go to your dermatologist, go to your waxer and things like that, and you can have things waxed with sensitive wax and it makes it thinner over time. You can bleach it, you can dye it and things like that. But really kind of look into potentially getting electrolysis before you come out, before you start setting the expectation that you want to be passing and things like that, because there is nothing more discouraging than being a beautiful woman but feeling completely defeated by your own stubble. Okay, so next up, clothing. My background is in fashion design, and when I first started in fashion design, you kind of learn different things about the shape of the body, and hourglass and pear-shaped and square-shaped and trapezoid-shaped and things like that. And so it's really, really important to learn to dress for your body. If you're like me and you were born a boy, oh my God, then you're probably broader of shoulder than you are anywhere else. So what you want to do is you want to balance the bottom half of your body. So if you're broader of shoulder, you want fuller skirts and a smaller waist. You want to make the illusion of an hourglass and you want to balance the weight. If you're more pear-shaped, then you can get away with things on top that you wouldn't be able to get away with on bottoms, keeping to certain colour palettes and things like that. You can show off your shoulders more to balance yourself out that way. If you're someone who's very straight up and down, which is completely fine, bodies come in all different shapes and sizes, then you can create a waist and you can create shape with fullness in certain areas. You can get kind of paper bag style trousers that are going to give you more of a hip with a more defined waist. You can pad yourself up top with some of these. You can make your shoulders look smaller by having more emphasis on the sleeve. You can wear long sleeves, you can have a turtleneck to cover an Adam's apple and things like that. So with clothing, it's really about balancing yourself out. If you want to be kind of more cisgender kind of conforming, then I would say stick to minimal colour palettes. You know, if you want to feel really girly, maybe like florals and pinks and fun things like that. I'm quite edgy in my everyday style and I don't really care what people think about me or my body. So I just kind of tend to wear whatever I want, and there's something to be said in that you can pull off pretty much everything if you walk with confidence and purpose. But for clothing, for me, it's really about being 100% honest with yourself and your body type. You know, being 100% honest with yourself and your body type starts from the ground up. So make sure that you've got good base. Make sure you've got good underwear, make sure that you're tucking if you need to be tucking, using a gaff, using waist trainers, using a good bra or a push-up bra, because it creates shape and it really helps with kind of emphasizing that. Make sure that you're balancing your body. You know, if you're bigger of shoulder, I highly recommend something black on top, something that's going to stick to that, and then a fuller skirt or a fuller kind of trouser or something like that, because it will help balance you. Similarly, if you're FTM and you're more kind of petite and you want to be heavier up top, then you can wear things, you know, padded shoulders, you can kind of roll up a sleeve to create more of a shoulder shape and things like that. So there are ways that you can dress your body to kind of present that body type that you like. Finally, the last thing to touch on is surgery. So if you want to have surgery, I just want to say one thing. You are beautiful. You are already doing so much better than you think you are, but have no shame in wanting to pursue surgery. There is no shame in wanting to have plastic surgery in order to present as your chosen self. So don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You can pursue anything that you want to pursue. It's your life. Do it for yourself. But I am so sick of hearing people say, oh, well, you don't need it, and it doesn't matter if I don't need it. What if I want it? What if it's going to be something that's going to make me more self-confident in myself? What if it's going to be something that increases my quality of life? You do you. If you want surgery, if you want facial feminization surgery, if you want implants to make yourself more masculine looking, if you want to square out your jaw, if you want to thin down your jaw, if you want to shave off your brow bone, just do it. And don't listen to anyone else. Just do your research, find out exactly what you want, go to the best places if you can, stay safe if you're getting the money through other means, because we've all been there, we've all done it. But don't listen to anyone who's trying to discourage you, because although it might be coming from a really good place, it can be really unaffirming. So that's it, guys. That is my advice, my tips and tricks and things like that on how to pass. I hope that this video finds you well. I hope that I don't come across as some trans savior talking about, oh my god, I get to pass so well, da da da, and all of that. Please, that wasn't how this video is meant, but if it's how you've taken it, then I'm very, very sorry for that. Remember, you don't have to pass. You don't owe anyone passing, anything like that. But if you want to pass, and that is your goal, don't be deterred. Don't let other people who are saying that it invalidates you as a trans person to want to pass, that it's not noble, that it's conformist. Just ignore them, because let me tell you, I have had so much in the past of people telling me, oh, well, you're a conformist and you're just perpetuating stereotypes and things like that. If you want to pass and to live anonymously as a cisgendered passing woman, that is your choice. You do that for yourself. Don't let anybody tell you any different, because it's your life. Wanting to pass is valid. Wanting to pass is fine. Don't let anybody tell you that it's not, but just have realistic expectations for yourself and how you look and how you appear. Okay, guys, that's kind of it from me. This video was a bit of a longer one. I kind of wanted to take my time to kind of talk about different ways you could do this. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, I'm sure there are things I left out, but this video could have been 7 hours long. And I really don't want to edit a 7-hour-long video. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, comment down below if there's anything that you think I've left out or any questions that you have and things like that. If any of this advice is helpful to you, then please let me know. I would love to hear it. Head on over to my second channel and subscribe so you can be there for the launch. Make sure you comment any ideas that you might have for that. And I hope you have just the best day. Remember that you're beautiful. Remember that you're doing so much better than you were yesterday, and just have an amazing day. Don't let anyone invalidate you, and I will see you very soon for another video. Bye.